ClassE. I mean, it is, man. I'm telling you, like, I can't believe that a judge of his stature is actually, doing this.
Yeah.
Man, the best thing he could do, man, is to just be transparent and just grant that certificate of immediate review.
We got to bring this man up. Javier LaFleur is in the building, our resident attorney.
Oh,
there he is, man. Javi, you want to be on camera, or you're good? You're good there.
I'm good for the camera today. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you perfect, man. All right, we've got a professional in here, so I'm gonna shut up. Let me know what's on your mind, man.
Oh man, I was just calling in, man, see what y'all wondering today. I didn't have anything specific, man.
Hey, and if y'all have questions in the chat, especially if you have questions for an attorney about this case, definitely go ahead and ask them now. So, Javi, let me get your thoughts on this ex parte meeting. I really wanted to hear what you think about that, because there is just so much going on when it comes to everything leading up to that, when Little Woody was held in contempt on Friday, and then they brought him straight out of jail into that secret meeting to the information being leaked. So just give me an idea. What are your thoughts of just this whole situation?
Man, that ex parte meeting was like, man, that was just a huge mistake on part of a judge. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't. The ex parte meeting was, as I was saying, man, that was a huge mistake on Judge Glanville's part. And, man, I just couldn't believe that a judge of his stature and someone who's been on the bench, I think it was like over 20 something years, would make when I first heard about it, I thought it was a mistake. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, I was like, man, a judge like this wouldn't do something like this. Maybe it was a mistake or something.
Yeah.
But as time as each day has passed, it looks more and more the intent to be sneaky or the intent to hide something is just becoming more evident. He hasn't given them the transcripts from the hearing. I thought he would do that on day 1 or day 2.
Exactly.
They still have no transcripts of the hearing, so they still don't know what was discussed. He's telling them if he does turn it over, it's going to be redacted. This was just, it's just this is huge. It's a very bad mistake on Judge Glanville's part. As I stated in the chat, because of this mistake, I don't think that Young Thug could get a fair trial at this point anymore.
Oh, man, that's huge, man. That's huge.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the transcripts, but there's no doubt in my mind that they were back there telling Woody that basically intimidating the witness, basically constantly reminding him of what had happened if he doesn't testify, or even probably if he said certain things. So they thought he was going to say that they suspected he was going to get up there and say that he killed Big Nut himself. And if he did do that,
messes up the whole thing.
Throws a whole wrench in the case. And I think that they were back there, just my opinion, I believe they were back there intimidating him to kind of stay on course of normal testimony and not kind of veer off into his own that I killed Nut thing.
Yeah. Now I wanted to ask you too, when it comes to these type of meetings, I'm sure you've been a part of several of them. How does the judge inform the defense and the prosecution that everything that goes on in this meeting is to be basically kept within the chambers or within, I guess, the sanctity of that meeting? Like, how does that whole process go?
Well, so when you have so the judge chambers, y'all, is just the judge's office. It's a fancy word for the judge's office in the back of the courtroom. So when they meet with the judge, usually that doesn't have to be said, because why would it? You have the state's attorneys there, you have the defense attorneys there. You don't have to really say this should be kept here because both sides are present and they both know what was said. Right. It'll be no different if y'all were both in court. You wouldn't ask them to keep it secret. I really think that what was I just saying? Judge Glanville.
Yeah, I was
saying before it cut off.
Yeah, I was asking you about what happens leading up to the meeting, and you were saying that it's usually not stated that, okay, this is a secret, because everybody's doing the same thing they would do in court. There's a reporter, there's a defense, there's a prosecution, there's a witness. And
Is exactly.
yeah,
There's no reason to say, "Hey, keep this secret." Now, I was saying before the phone cut off that it just becomes more and more evident that, why would he tell? Why is he asking Brian Steele, "How did you find out about this? This is supposed to be secret. You're not supposed to know about this."
that's the
Well, he is
weirdest
supposed
thing
to.
I've ever heard a
It
judge
is
say.
classy. I mean, it is, man. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, like, I can't believe that a judge of his stature is actually, doing this.
yeah,
Um, man, the best thing he could do, man, is to just be transparent and just grant that certificate of immediate review. I mean, that's the
exactly.
best. That's the best. I don't know why he just won't do that. It just, I have no idea why he won't do that. The only thing I can think of is I think he knows he's dead wrong on the issue, and I think the Supreme Court or another court is going to rule against him and rule in favor of the movements or the movements of the motion or the writ.
Yeah, which I'm glad you bring that up, because with that motion that was filed with the Supreme Court, what do you think the outcome is going to be? I know we reviewed it a little bit here on the channel, but what do you think the Supreme Court is thinking when they see this? And I mean, how does it look for Judge Glanville?
Well, I think that the Supreme Court is is definitely going to be in favor of the defense attorney side. I can't see any way that they would
Dang.
give an okay to Judge Glanville to do this or to vouch that this was proper procedure.
Right.
This was bad, man. They're definitely going to rule for the defense. Now the remedy, I'm unsure of. I'm not sure if the remedy is going to be that they force him to grant they filed a writ of mandamus, and that is
Oh, we lost him again, man, just when it was getting good. There he is. You're back. You're back.
okay. Yeah. They filed a writ of mandamus, and that just forces a government official to do their duty that they're normally obligated to do.
Right.
Like, they want him to grant that certificate of immediate review. And so I don't know the remedy of the writ. I don't know if it's going to be that they'll force him to grant that certificate or they'll make him recuse himself. I'm guessing it's going to be one of the two.
Right. So if they grant him this certificate, if they grant him the opportunity to give the certificate, it's kind of an out to say, all right, this is your last chance, Glanville. Like, we're going to say you need to give them the certificate before we tell you you're off the case, essentially.
Right.
Wow.
Right. If they tell him that, it's just because he should have done that in the first place.
Right. Exactly. Wow.
Yeah, he
That's
should have done this. He should have done that in the first place, man. It's just, to me, he's digging a deeper hole day by day. The more he prolongs this issue, denying their motions, and they'll just grant them the certificate so you can get the ball rolling. Because right now it's like we're stuck at this point, and we're not going anywhere.
Now there is a question in the comments from Floyd. He says, yesterday's arguments was largely to stop the prosecution from using the video of his interview. Yeah, and we're going to go over that here shortly. He said, does the defense have a good case saying being that they were asking about a weapon that would mess up his other case? So let me try that again. It says, does the defense have a good case when they're saying that asking about a weapon would mess up one of the other cases? I'm not sure about that, Floyd. I didn't see that part of it either. So maybe you'll have to rephrase it. But we're gonna get into a little bit of what was said by Lil Woody yesterday and some of the back and forth between Judge Glanville and the defense. So we'll get into that shortly, because again, even as the defense made some, in my opinion, great objections and showed Judge Glanville why certain parts of the testimony should be left out, of course, we know Judge Glanville still granted the state permission to use it. So I don't know. It's just wild out here, man. I did have one more thing I wanted to ask you, though.
Go ahead.
The biggest thing to me about this whole ex parte meeting was Lil Woody being a sworn witness, right? Now,
Right.
how much of a weight does that have into maybe or possibly the Supreme Court's decision to force Glanville to remove himself?
Well, the whole thing about him being a sworn witness is major because he's already sworn in he's already been sworn in as a witness.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what that means is at that point is he's already under oath. Okay. Now, when you have an ex parte meeting with a witness who's already under oath as to what his testimony is going to be, that's a huge problem. Okay, because it looks like intimidation, it looks like coercion. And I believe, as I stated earlier, I think the whole purpose of them calling this meeting is because they found out that Lil Woody was going to get on the stand and say that he killed Nut. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that they wanted to pressure him and to remind him what happens if he doesn't testify, what happens if he gives false testimony. It's intimidating to not have the defense attorney there while you're giving those instructions or kind of laying out the consequences of those actions. It's unfair because it has to be it has to be intimidation. It's not transparent. Won't turn over transcripts. I mean, it's just bad. And it's just what I said earlier, man. I really can't believe that a chief judge like Judge Glanville would try to pull something like this off. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
It's a shame, man. I mean, you think about it, the defense couldn't even, there wasn't anyone that was there to let him know his rights, right? To say, hey,
Right.
Lil Woody, like you have immunity for this. So even if you say it, it doesn't matter because they told you it's okay.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm interested to see this cross-examination, because it's my opinion, and tell me if you agree, that Little Woody has every incentive to give the defense whatever he wants. So the only thing that stands between the defense getting what they want or getting Lil Woody to say what they want is Judge Glanville, right? Because he hasn't given the full transcripts. Lil Woody, really, he's not able to answer a question if Judge Glanville doesn't want him to. So, all right, what do you think about that? Do you think once it comes time to cross-examination, whatever the defense asks Lil Woody, he's going to be willing to give up, or he's still going to be a little bit apprehensive?
No, I think watch. It's gonna be like a light switch has flicked or something.
Yeah,
Lil Woody is gonna start remembering, and he's gonna start answering these questions.
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
you're gonna be like, who? You're gonna be like, who is this? This not the same Lil Woody. Lil Woody is gonna turn to a whole different person when cross-examination comes.
Yes.
But the question is when is cross-examination ever going to come? We're stuck at a point that the defense don't even want to begin cross until they get this issue about the ex parte meeting kind of rolling in or resolved.
Exactly.
Because one, they're going to want to ask him about the ex parte meeting. And that's the whole point of them filing the writ, is because they're like, well, cross is coming up and, we're going to ask him about this.
Yeah.
So, that's it's just, man, it's a mess, dude. I promise it is. It's it's a mess, and we're stuck in this place. I'm wondering how long is Woody gonna be on the stand. It seems like to me cross-examination should have begun, man,
weeks ago. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, and imagine, I keep bringing this up, man, just because I was a juror at one point. Can you imagine these jurors, man, just hanging out, not able to have contact with the outside world, even though we know they are? Having to
they're not saying.
Jeez, man, that's terrible.
One more thing. One more thing before I let you go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I know that I've had some experience with those recusal motions. I never filed one myself, but I sat and watched several. Yeah. And that's kind of how I knew about what the judge was going to do. I knew the judge was going to immediately deny those. Like I said in the comments today, we had a ex-judge. She got arrested. She was on drugs and had a DV case with her girlfriend. She got a girlfriend, whatever. But anyway, Yeah, I know. Yeah. So she was in court today, and the judge immediately recused himself. Well, why
Wow.
did he do that? Because she's a former judge. They actually have a very personal relationship. So it was an obvious conflict of that he could be biased towards any decision to her because he knows her. So
Yeah.
he recused himself today. Well, this same judge, I remember there was another motion to recusal filed against him by defense attorneys where they were accusing him of having an ex parte meeting in the hallway about the
Mm.
case with the state attorneys and not the defense attorneys. And he denied that motion. He denied that motion to,
Wow.
and it was because of his own error. It was like admitting I messed up and taking yourself off the case. A lot of people are less likely to admit, "Hey, I messed up. It's my fault."
Right.
Then when it's somebody else's fault, they'll go ahead and do it, no problem.
Mm.
And that's I was just pointing that out, man. Like, judge mess up, motion to recuse. No, they're not gonna do it.
Floyd had one more question, and then I know you got to go. I'm gonna let you get out of here. He said, "Does the defense have a good case asking about a weapon because he had other cases? Basically, he would be saying he was in possession as a convicted felon."
Well, good question, Floyd. Good question, but he has immunity from any testimony that he gives regarding this case.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
even if he gives testimony in this case that can incriminate him in another case, it's still it's not valid testimony. It can't be used against him. Because the only reason immunity may be the only reason that he is saying certain things. So you can't have it both ways. But to answer your question, Floyd, no, the testimony, let's say he had a weapon in this case, they can't go and say, oh, you said you had a weapon in this case where you had immunity. We're going to charge you with, being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm, So no,
Yep.
no testimony that he says here can be used in another state case. Now, federally, he does not have federal immunity. So if the feds are looking at this and he says something on the stand that adheres to a federal crime, he can definitely be picked up by the feds, but it can't be used in another state case.
Yeah, and what would be a good example of something that he could say that would maybe put him in trouble with the feds?
Well, like Floyd said, let's say he does say something about having a gun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these same state crimes are similar crime. The feds have similar crimes, and so a lot of times, man, the feds can come in and take over a case if you committed a federal crime, a state crime that is sort of the same as a federal crime. Man, they have absolute discretion on if they want to come in and jump on the case or not. So
Wow.
like the feds can actually see, they can actually see Lil Woody say something like, that could be a federal crime, but then just decide not to, just leave it to the state. We'll just leave that to the state of Georgia. They're not obligated to get on this stuff.
Yeah, and in the comments, I posted one video to where I was talking about that and saying how surprised I was that Little Woody said he gave money to someone else to buy a gun for him. And people were saying, oh, he has immunity, it's fine. But I was thinking kind of what you were saying. I said, I don't know if this would be a federal issue, which is why I was surprised he said that. So in that case, do you think that something could maybe be on the border of something the feds might look at, or is that just the state?
They could, because Lil Woody is a convicted felon.
Exactly.
Having a third party purchase a weapon for you is the same as you buying a weapon.
Exactly.
They're going to treat that as a felon is purchasing this weapon. So and you best believe that there is a federal law stating that felons can't own firearms.
Right.
Obviously there's state laws saying that too, but best believe that derived from a federal law. And so it's just like that, him saying that he had a person go buy a weapon for him. The feds could charge him for that. They could absolutely charge him for that.
Jeez,
whether
man.
they're going to, I doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, because
I think that they're gonna let. Yeah.
Yeah, what would he possibly get for that? I don't know. I guess we would have to see what it would be from a federal standpoint, but I'm sure it's not worth it, like you said. So, all right, man. Javier LaFleur, did you have anything else you wanted to say before I get you up out of here?
Nah, great question, Floyd. Lanisha Houston, congrats on your win last night.
Let's go.
Hello to Amy. She's always here. Snapper, what's going on?
Yeah, man.
I can't remember if anybody's else in the chat, but just what's up to everybody.
All right. Hey, man, I know your time is so valuable, and I really appreciate you calling in and stopping by and giving that great insight, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. I'm off work. I had like 3 cases today. I'm just chilling for the rest of the day, man.
Hey,
so I'm
enjoy it, man. Thank you for stopping by. I guess we'll see you in the chat too, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, peace.